Try to keep it under 10 minutes, JB. Give us your general take on this gambling scandal.
Who cares? Who cares? I don't watch this stuff. I don't watch. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just had Tim Donaghy on for an hour, and the most intriguing thing he mentioned was Michael Jordan going to baseball was the first cover up because he got caught, and that's the way the NBA operates, and he knows firsthand more than anybody else, in my opinion. So that's a very intriguing one. And then the second thing he threw out was, is there going to be a class action lawsuit from all of the minions out there like us who bet and got duped by these other people on all the games? Are you going to show all your DraftKings and FanDuel lineups and say, hey, man, what's going on here? This was an under, I bet, and I got screwed, and they proved they lied. And now is this going to be a huge issue to where it even folds them for some certain amount of time? Meaning, are they going to be playing with G League players because this thing gets shut down? He thinks that the big part hasn't even hit yet. He thinks that thing is coming down the pipe. And that's someone that was indicted and spent time in jail and obviously threw games. And he threw Dick Bavetta and all these other people under the bus, saying that the Lakers did not three-peat in the minds of a lot of referees. Sacramento was the best team. Dick Bavetta was later indicted and said it himself that he forced Game 7. Game 6 should have been over. Sacramento won. And he was breaking down some things that I've never heard. And I'm like, wow. So that is the part that you have to really look into it. How he said 58 of 60 referees were cheaters in the NBA. 58 of 60, Jason. So let that sink in. So it's much bigger than we think, in my opinion. And I think I didn't have any reason to not believe him at all either. So
I hope
he was on Cuomo today. I don't know if you saw that. Tim Donaghy is also on Cuomo. So
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fascinating what Tim Donaghy is suggesting, and that again is why I'm telling you, today feels different. And this is what I've texted Darnell. Did Darnell have it? Cause I'd love to have Darnell come on because I want a young person's take. I'm just wondering.
Let me send him the link.
I wonder if we're all just old fuddy-duddies. Not you, TJ. But I almost want, if you knew how to run everything, I was going to have you and Luke switch positions. It's one of the few times I would actually want to hear from Luke. I would actually allow Luke to speak on this show because sometimes Luke accuses us of being old fuddy-duddies and that, young people have a completely different perspective on all of this. Steve, were we just old men screaming, "Get off my lawn"?
Yeah, but that doesn't make us wrong. Honestly, I just think those who try to be young and hip are being really dishonest. But based on what JB said, and I'm going to watch that. I watched the first half of that interview earlier this morning. Jason, I love this. This is great. I can't wait for this to roll out. I will now binge watch. Forget the Carolina Belichick thing. That's in the past. That was last week. Now my focus is going to be the NBA betting scandal, because I think this thing has so many layers to it, and I'm fascinated by seeing how deep and wide this thing goes.
JB, did and we hopefully we'll get Smitty on. Oh, he can't today. He's in another meeting. But did Darnell have a different take on this than you?
Nah, he was asking good questions. He was just like, the mob question from Smitty, he asked, like, is it how invested it, is this the mob part of it, the mafia? Then I had Lauren Conlon, who I hooked you up with, Jason, who came on, who's covering this intel. She's also like, she's got actual insight and a login now. And she has a login with a lot of this stuff to where she can actually pull the actual documents right live. And she was breaking down some issues as well today. But she was like, the mob is not really too worried about this. I think they played this out. I spoke to somebody actually about the Chauncey Billups issue, and they think that Chauncey met somebody in Detroit during his time, which makes more sense than meeting somebody in Denver, and said, hey, this is what you are. Do this. He needed help at the time. He did it. And Donahue came on the show today and said, listen, Chauncey thought it was a 3-month agreement, and there's no such thing with the mob. This is a lifelong agreement, contrary to belief. And Donahue said, nah, I thought I was in a 3-month agreement as well with the mob. Chauncey thinks that's what he thinks happened with Chauncey. He thinks Chauncey made a 3-month agreement and it was a lifelong agreement and he's still paying for it. So it's a lot going on, man. That's going to be a big thing. But I think Smitty didn't disagree. He was like, hey, this is kind of, I guess, unprofessional with Smitty's take, because for a young guy to say that it was a lot too, because if it is unprofessional, in my opinion. And now the integrity of the game, to Steve's point, is the question I have. Like, now it's the integrity of the game. I think they lose more viewership. Here's the most thing, Jason, and I'll end it with this question. Donahue, I asked Donahue specifically, how is Adam Silver still employed today? And he said that's a great question, because during his time, he said David Stern the same thing, because they're all being paid by this. And if he tells you any other, and here's the chronological issue, and I wanted to ask you guys, chronologically, Shams came out yesterday and said he knew about it the night before. Well, the night before that, Adam Silver was on McAfee. And then yesterday, this happens. Tell me that this is not just a coincidence. There's no way. This has all been known. They all knew about it. It was coming down the pipe. They were prepping for it. And Adam Silver tried to get ahead of it, just like David Stern did to Tim Donahue's point. He said that he tried to get ahead of it as well. And so, and he labeled it as like a crooked politician. Like Newsom, makes $200,000 a year, but he lives in a $9 million mansion in Beverly Hills. Make it make sense. It's the same thing. Look at what they make versus what they have. There's a reason why, because they're getting paid on other ways. So Donahue broke it down.
And so, JB, I know none of us watch a lot of ESPN or mainstream media, but I've watched enough to see, like, ESPN is trying to talk about other things going on in the sports world. It's impossible for me right now to talk about other things going on in the sports world, because I don't know how believable they are. And so this is all that's in my head right now. I didn't watch the game last night, and I like watching Justin Herbert. I like watching Jim Harbaugh. I thought the game might be interesting. I'm glad I didn't. But my enthusiasm for games this weekend is being tamped down by this, because all I can think of, is this legit? And I think in a lot of things, that's all you're going to see over social media.
He did mention the NFL's next.
Woo.
So that was big when he said that. He said the NFL will be next, and he said the FBI is doing this. Listen, I'm independent. Like, I'm a conservative thinking person, but at the same time, it's like the Cash Patel thing to me is like, well, wait up, because I got questions. If we're humans and we can ask questions, then we got to ask the questions. Then where the damn Epstein files at then? So, like, I want to know. Don't say we're only going after criminals, Cash, because you're not. Because there's other things out there that I want my tax-paying dollars to. I want to know where my damn potholes are out here on the 15 freeway. The issue is we got to be honest with each other here. There's a lot of things going on. If the NFL's next, then there's got to be a lot of other things that you should be investigating, like our governor in California, Obama. Like, there's a lot of things out there I want to see investigated. So I call BS on a lot of stuff too. So if we're fair thinkers here and we're going to be honest, we got to start saying that too. Because I don't know, Jason, this is I've been saying that on your show. I've been telling Steve Kim, it's watered down as hell. I can't watch the NFL and college football like I used to. To your point, it's not, and that was before this whole thing came out. We all had speculation and all. We've seen wide receivers in the NFL get suspended for a game or two and all that. But at the end of the day, like, if we thought of it on this macro scale, is everybody involved? 58 of 60 referees are involved.